Good evening and welcome back to the FiTT Show. Financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby P. Kinzer.
And I'm Thomas Doty.
And we are the FiTT Show, helping our people get their finances in shape. Dote, it's such a good time to be back at you, my brother. How are you today?
Life is good. Life is good.
I like to hear that. That's a good way to be.
How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic. Just had cataract surgery on both my eyes. That's why I'm not wearing no glasses. Thank God I can see you. You look even better though. I didn't realize how much better you could look, man.
Now we know you didn't get it fixed right.
I know that's right. But welcome everybody, and this is the FiTT Show. We want to help our people, give you some ideas on news that you can use. It's been a great 2 weeks. We've been off since Thanksgiving, and just wanted to give a notification. We don't do Christmas, and we won't be doing the New Year's, but we'll be doing the next 2 weeks. We will still be coming right at you, so make sure you tune in. And please share this information with other people. Go out there and share, and also on YouTube, we like for you to subscribe. And that's how we do it here. We want to reach as many people as we possibly can. Just want to give you a little disclosure. We're not qualified financial advisors, so we do not have any fiduciary responsibility. But we are giving you information that we hope that you would use, not just for you, but for your family and friends. And we're hoping that we're not just helping you with increasing your wealth, but we hope you help you to build generational wealth for your kids. That's what our show is about. We do not charge any money for things. We're not doing anything, right? So we just want to help, you, because the problem, man, they said our people don't die for a lack of seeing. They die from a lack of having a vision. So we hope that this information you be able to go out there and
that could have been your thought for the day. That was deep.
Yeah, I just came up with that one though. But we want you to make sure you put comments in the comment box, because even though we're in a virtual studio, we like to make this interactive. And how we do that, we can talk back and forth with you through the comment box. And plus, the algorithms work way better for especially YouTube and not just YouTube, but Facebook, to reach more people. So the more comments that you put in there, the better. But just don't put comments. And if you have a question about anything we're talking about, please put it in there. Or if you have opinion, or if you have a topic you'd like for us to cover at another date. And if it's something you came about, we like to share news articles. We give full disclosure. We get a lot of our information online from like Vanguard, Fidelity, Smart News. We get our information from a lot of places. T. Rowe Price. Today, our information is coming from Fidelity, actually, and it's going to be some good information. Our show, which was 2 weeks ago, if you may remember, it was Feel Less Stressed About Finances. And we hope we helped you with that, because a lot of people, they stress out about finances. But this week's show is going to be about the year-end tax tips, though. And I know every year we come in here, we like to make sure that you are up on it, because we don't want you to miss the deadlines that are, for December the 31st. And a lot of people get mixed up sometimes with having your taxes filed by April the 15th. But in order to get the benefits for 2025, you have to get them in by the 31st. And so we're going to talk about some year-end tax.
Some deadlines, a lot of deadlines are the 31st, some are the 15th. And
right.
A lot of people just kind of throw off, well, I don't want to mess with taxes, it's too complicated. But you have to know enough to provide the right information to the person who does your taxes. And a lot of times timing is really important as to when you do things. So you can say, I don't have to worry about this because somebody does my taxes, but that won't fly. You can miss opportunities to cut your tax bill by making some specific moves that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, and it's just so important that you make sure you take as much advantage as you can of reducing your taxes and also reducing your exposure in the future for taxes. So we're going to talk about a few of those things today, and hope they'll be useful for you. Um, and like I said, please put some comments in there. And the other thing we like for you to do is so important to click on that little box, to click on the button there for the heart button and the uh, it's two buttons there, right? I forgot what the buttons are. Or the heart button and the like button. It's been a while. Yeah, the like button. You can click on that many times because it doesn't count as one. They count as individual. We up now, up to 499. We need one more follower and we'll hit 500, dope. And we're thankful for everybody tuning in around the country and, believe it or not, around the world. So, dope. It's been 2 weeks since we talked about the stock market. And you know, our number one start of the show is about the market. So what we hoping though, because I mean you haven't been giving us no good news about the market of late, man.
Yeah, and it's been up and down. It's not for the faint-hearted because the market has really been volatile. And if you look at the update, it's all positive. Realize this is weeks. This is 2 weeks since we weren't on for Thanksgiving. But it's funny, Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving are all on Thursdays this year. But as you can see, the S&P is up almost 5% in that 2 week period. Year to date, it's up 18%. A nice run on the S&P. NASDAQ's up even more. It's up 6.5% for the 2 week period, 22% for the year. And there's a lot of talk about this market being oversold because it's primarily driven by tech stocks. Microsoft is only up 3, but I mean, Microsoft was up to the low 500s earlier, and it actually had another run, but it just went down this week. I think it went down like 12, 14 points yesterday because there's talk that they are going to cut some AI spending, but or something along those lines, but they've come out and said that's not true. So we'll see what happens with the market. Apple's had a nice run. The iPhone sales are still going crazy. It's up 5.6% in that 2 week period. Now it's up to 12% for the year. NVIDIA continues its very good run. It's up 2 points for the 2 week period and 37% for the year. Google has been on a monster run of late. It's up 28 points in that 2 week period. Glad I own that. And year to date, it's now up 67%. Pfizer is up, it's even up 2 points. Year to date, it's only off a point year to date, so it's really not worth talking about. Palantir continues to roll. It had a big hit, and then it had a big comeback. It's up 22 points in that 2 week period, up 134% for the year. United Healthcare, it had a nice little run. It's up 21 points in this 2 week period. Remember, I think I told you a couple of weeks ago that I was even considering selling. I paid 301. And if it gets down to that 301 level, I was looking to bail. And it got close to that. I think it went as low as 306, I believe. But it's back up to 333 and moving right along. And GOW, which is Corning Glass, but it's really a tech AI-driven company. It's up 7 points for the week. It's up 81% for the year. But I got into this stock at 85, so it went down and went back up. But now it's back at where I paid for it. So I'm going to hold this one too. So as I said, this market's not for the faint-hearted. A lot of people think the whole AI big push is a Ponzi scheme because everybody's buying AI stocks. All the stocks are going up. But if nothing productivity-wise comes out of that, it could be just a whole lot of people spending a whole lot of money and nothing really coming of it. So I think that's going to rear its face pretty soon. We'll see where we stand with that. Right now, these stocks are pretty highly valued. I think I told you a few weeks ago, I'm a little nervous about the market, but I'm not getting out. But I expect a lot more volatility, and it will not surprise me if there's some sort of correction. And 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 it's easy for me to say that because these stocks, other than Corning, United Healthcare, and Pfizer, I've held these stocks for a long time. So I've got, it would have to go down 50% for me to be losing money. Like Microsoft, I got in the 200s. Apple, I got in like 160. Nvidia, I got in at 17. Google, I got in at like 120. So even a big correction will not make me want to jump off a building or anything. So, and that's the key to investing early, picking good stocks and staying in, is that there are going to be corrections at some point, but if it averages at 8-9% a year, by the time a correction hits, you'll be so far ahead, unless you buy right before the correction, obviously. But hang in, it's going to be a wild ride.
Well, that's good news today, though. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Gold is up over $4,200, $4,200 and some change, and silver is really up. It's up, man. It's. I mean, I remember 8 years ago, silver was at $16 an ounce, and gold was at $103 an ounce, and silver is now up to $57 an ounce. So it's still a good mix to have into your portfolio. Let's talk about the crypto market.
Yeah, let's talk about crypto.
Because crypto was taking the beating there. Now this is
You ain't never lied.
the column of the previous week is actually 2 weeks ago, and this is today's price. Remember, crypto is priced 24 hours a day. It's always moving. You know, it doesn't close. It's always pricing. So this was at approximately probably like 5-6 o'clock today, but it's up 5%. The crypto market, Bitcoin, which is the number one cryptocurrency, it went all the way down. It was down to $86,832  2 weeks ago, down from 120 of its highest mark around the beginning of the year. It increased $5,427 from 2 weeks ago, up 6%. Ethereum is up 10%. The stable coin, Tether, that's up 1 cent at $1. That's pegged to the dollar and assets. Really, that's supposed to be the only one that's really backed by anything. And the top six is still holding at the top six. And Ripple, which is that's a stable coin also, it's up 5%. So overall, the market, it came back, and it's still a viable investment. Just remember, don't be putting more than you're willing to lose in it, because it is so risky. We got to give that statement, that disclosure statement, because that's how it is in that crypto market.
Yeah, but again, it probably won't go to zero. So that's the only thing I don't like about that comment. Yeah, theoretically it could, but chances of that happening are probably slim and none.
Right, but you can't lose if you get in like today and it goes down to, which it was 29,000 in 2020. It was around about 29,000.
Yeah, you can lose a whole lot of money. Ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, but you can make a lot too. But that's the thing. Remember, y'all, building wealth is all about taking risks, but it's about how much risk that you are willing to take, and that's up to you. No one can determine that, but for you. But remember, no risk it, no biscuit. That's me and Dote's motto, man. So Rodney got jokes, right? Rodney like, Bob, put on your goddamn glasses. You scrunching your face because you look like you looking at man of the world. Rodney, So look, I was not wearing because I had the cataract. So I was trying to see how I was just being able to leave. So the reason why they scrunch is because they are like that. That's how the Kansas have these daggone suitcases. We have these bags. That's the only thing about getting not having the glasses. Now everybody see, my luggage. But I do
Your
but I
luggage.
do get to
I
see.
never heard that. Your luggage.
Yeah, it looked like suitcases mom told me I had. But I do the crypto the the cat
He
man.
threw you off, man. He got you thrown off.
I,
That don't
I
usually
got
happen to you.
I know he got me, but
And he got
my
you.
friends I told my friends I had cataracts surgery, and he said, yeah, a lot of people been getting that. I'm getting ready to have an Escalade. I said, you got jokes, okay? So anyway, though, let's get into today's subject, which is year-end tax tips.
Yeah, and as I said before, the things you can do before the year ends that can potentially help you reduce your taxable income. It could help you maximize your charitable deductions. You can reduce your exposure to future taxes. And you really have to understand what these options are and make sure you've got some flexibility built in your plans to make sure that you can stay focused on your goals and objectives. And you can't be focused on your wealth goals and objectives if you aren't taking into account minimizing your taxes. And so if you need to get an advisor to help you with this stuff, now's the time to do it. But again, you have to know enough to know, one, that you need help and make sure you can provide the necessary information. So don't just throw this off to I don't have to worry about that. No, you do. If you want to build wealth and you want to build wealth effectively and you don't want to overpay in taxes, you got to make sure you understand what's going on here.
And the whole key to building wealth, especially you people who are coming close to retirement or they're in retirement, it's about taxes. When you get into on that side, it's really about lowering your tax obligation, your tax burden. So it's so important, you all, to take advantage. And I'm telling you, we always talk about getting help. And me and Doe, we definitely tell you up front, we do not, well, but Doe's a CPA though, but we don't profess to be tax planners. Don't know more than I do because he is a CPA and an MBA. But but you should get help from a tax person because you could be missing out. So that's so important. Why are we doing this thing on taxes? And we're doing it now, so you give you a time that give you a chance that you can do something before the end of the year, because remember the deadline is December 31st for a lot of things. So with the end of the year fast approaching, right, and a little year-end housekeeping can help lower your taxable income, maximize your charitable deductions, and it can reduce exposure to your future taxes. So, while we can never predict the future with certainty, it's never a bad thing to be educated on the possibilities of different outcomes. And that's what we want to get into today.
Okay, so let's get started. And the first thing we want to talk about is how you can lower your taxable income. And I have a caveat, I have a disclaimer for that in a minute, but we'll talk about ways you can actually lower your taxable income. And you can use them to your advantage. And there's a lot of different things you can do to do that. And the first of those is tax loss harvesting. Now, what exactly is that? And that's when you have an investment loss and you can use that to offset any gains you have. So if you've already recognized some gains during the year and you have some losses that you can use to offset those, you need to take a look at that. And you look at the asset and you see it's something that it doesn't fit your strategy anymore. You don't see that it has a future. And now might be the time to sell that, take the loss, offset those gains that you have, and find another stock. Now, the one thing I got to remind you to be careful of is if you take a loss just to get the loss, but you still like the stock, okay? Let's say if I had a loss on Pfizer right now, and I still wanted to keep Pfizer, but I wanted to recognize that loss to offset a gain I've had. In order to be able to take that loss, I cannot buy that stock back within 30 days. It's called the 30-day wash rule. So if I sell Pfizer at a loss, use that to offset my taxes, but then I wanted to buy it back, in order to keep that loss, let's call it legitimate, I'd have to wait 30 days to buy it again. So that's the only thing you have to worry about with that. But if you have a stock that you want to get rid of, and it's at a loss on paper, now's the time to take it if you have some gains to offset it with. Because if it's a huge loss, you only get $3,000. So let's say you didn't sell any other stocks, you didn't buy any other stock this year, but you have one stock at a loss. You only get to deduct $3,000 of that loss, and you can carry the rest forward to future years. So hopefully that'll lower your income somewhat.
Good advice, though. I want, excuse me. I want to talk about contributing to tax advantage accounts, meaning specifically the 401 and the 403B contributions, and also the HSF accounts, the health savings accounts, could potentially lower your taxable income for this year and increase the assets that you have available for future retirement and medical expenses. It's good practice to review your contributions before the year end to ensure you're taking a full advantage of the limits for those accounts. And also, it's a good time to look at the mix of your asset allocations in your tax advantage accounts, because like Doe said, the market has been pretty rough, and you might have been very aggressive. You might want to change the mix from a 70% equity growth to and a 30% cash. Then you might want to change to 60-40 or 40-60. It all depends on you, how much risk you're willing to take. But this is the time, the year to end, the end of the year, to look at your your contributions and look at your mix.
Yeah, and everybody's getting solicited for charitable contributions right now. I mean, yesterday or Tuesday was Giving Tuesday, and everybody and their brothers asking for money. And there's probably a bigger need for that, and there's going to be a bigger need in the future as this big, beautiful bill goes into effect. And so if you're going to give, you may as well do it tax efficiently. And so there's no reason to donate and not maybe save some money on your taxes by doing that. And with the new tax law and the very high standard deduction, I think it's like $15,000. I'm rounding about $15,000 for singles and over $30,000 for couples. It may be hard to have enough money to itemize, but if you are a very driven giver, you may be able to bunch your deductions in 1 year in order to allow you to reach the thresholds for the charitable deductions. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you give 15 to 20 grand a year in contributions between your church, Shriners, St. Jude's, Red Cross, food banks. They go on and on and on. If you say, okay, I give 15 or 20,000 a year, maybe you put it all in 1 year. You do one in December, you do your big amount in December, and then you do another. You take, instead of taking next year's, you also pull that to December and double on your amount 1 year. And of course, next year you give zero. But again, you're giving the same amount of money. You're just putting it all in the same year to maximize your itemized deductions. And that's something you can do. can save you a little bit of money on your taxes, and you're still giving the same amount of money. Something you got to think about if it fits your situation.
Yeah, and that's a good way too, to help out the people, help out your charities, and at the same time help yourself out. Another one though is donating appreciated assets. Now, if you're itemizing deductions and you donate an asset held longer than like 1 year, and to a qualified, it's got to be a qualified public charity, meaning like they have to be like a 401. I mean. Not 401. What am I talking about? A 501c. Right. Thank you. That's one of the ways to be qualified. You may be able to deduct the fair market value of that asset without paying any capital gains on the sale, which is normally subject to the adjusted gross income limitation, somewhere around about 30%. But that's another way you can do it. If you have appreciating assets, you can actually itemize your deduction and get a tax saving there. A lot of people don't even think about that.
Yeah, and you can avoid the capital gain. That's the other
right.
That's the other thing you're missing, Bob. You can avoid the cap. You don't have to pay the capital gain. So you buy a stock you spend $10,000 for a stock. Its value is up to $20,000 if you donate that stock to a church or a qualified, as Bob said. You don't have to take the gain, and you get the deduction. That's a pretty good deal. The other thing you can do is you can make a cash contribution, and if you itemize the deductions, that up 60% of your AGI can be deducted for cash contributions made to qualified charities in 2025. Now, again, that's a large amount of money, but again, you might consider bunching to get it all in 1 year, just so you can get that itemization, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get it.
Yeah, that's why sometimes make sure you get advice before you start messing around. Now, another one is reducing exposure to future tax. I talked about that at the top of the show, right? Now, year-end planning isn't just about the here and now. There are several things you can do before the end of the year that can help you reduce the impact of future taxes and provide an added benefit to your beneficiaries. For instance, like this year's lifetime estate and gift tax exemption has increased in 2025. The inflation-adjusted lifetime estate and gift tax exemption is $380,000. So for those who have already maxed out their exemption prior to 2025, this offers an additional opportunity to move appreciation of assets out of your estate as much as $760,000 for a married couple married. While this isn't something that has to be done within the calendar year, you should take it into account, for your future plans. Now, you need to also note that they call it the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which I think is One Big Ugly Act, but that's what they call it. It increased the federal exemption, increased it to, guess what, though? $15 million, man. It indexed to 2026 for inflation. So if you don't think that great big beautiful bill was made for the rich people, I got a castle I want to sell you. But there'll be continually have options out there for people to maximize their lifetime exemption. But if you're in that position, the state and gift exemption tax is there, so you might need to think about that for future planning.
Yeah, the next one we want to talk about is the annual gift exclusion. And so hopefully you guys have a whole lot of money and you're looking to give some to your beneficiaries. You can give up to $19,000 to as many beneficiaries as you like. That's your kids, your grandkids, and that can help reduce your estate value if anybody's getting up over that $15 million. And you won't have to use any of your lifetime gift and estate tax exemption. Now, what's interesting about that is if you're married, each spouse can give $19,000 to their kids, grandkids, and for a total of $38,000 that you can get to your beneficiaries without igniting any special gift taxes. So if you're giving away money, keep it under 19,000 per person, or if you're married, keep it under 38,000.
Now, qualified charitable distributions, which is the QCD, right? Now, if you are of age 70 and a half and older, or you know somebody who's 70 and a half and older and have an IRA, and you might want to consider making direct transfers. For single, it's 108,000. For couples, it's 216,000 from your IRA to an eligible charity. You know, like your church or any charity that don't mentioned a minute ago. This could potentially reduce the amount of the current or future required minimum distributions. Additionally, direct transfer does not increase your adjusted gross income, because that's what make your taxes go up. Meaning it will not adversely affect your itemized deductions like your Medicare premiums, your Social Security benefits. You know, QCD it is almost always a beautiful deal than giving cash. So I'm talking about like if you have an IRA that you can transfer that to, and this is like you saving, you having your cash that most people usually give to charities. But if you want to consider this, the QCD, qualified contribution, this charitable contributions, make sure you get the advice of an accountant.
Okay, and here's one that's Bob mentioned that I do have some expertise when it comes to taxes from having a CPA, but this is one I missed myself, and excuse me, I still kick myself for this. But IRA or 401k distributions, and we're talking about lowering your income. Excuse me, but this is the opposite of that. If you have relatively low income this year, and my personal opinion, and I think anybody in the world that you ask will tell you that tax rates will never be this low again. They will.
You don't think so, though?
Tax rates will never, ever be this low again.
Especially if the Democrats get in.
Well, not even if the Democrats. I don't think the Republicans can lower them anyway. If you think about the government's budget, it's just like your own personal budget. You got income coming in, you got expenses going out. Okay, the income coming into the federal government is tax revenue. Income going out, or the expenses going out, is all the things they pay for: military, social programs, Social Security,
bridges,
like that.
potholes.
So if the money that's coming in, isn't covering the money going out, you have a deficit, and that's what this big beautiful bill is going to create, this huge spending deficit, because they have not come up with enough income to cover all the things they're spending money on, primarily the big tax cuts they're giving to rich people. And so I can guarantee you will not see tax rates this low again. So I won't say I'll guarantee it. I'm 99% sure. 99% sure.
Because somebody will remember that. Did you say
Oh,
that?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And so if you do have low income now, you may consider taking that money, taking that tax hit now while tax rates are low, and get that money either as a distribution or transfer it to a Roth. And the mistake that I made, if I had to do it over, I think I told you I took my Social Security at my full retirement age, and my thinking was that I did the break even, and I was thinking about my break even point was somewhere around 77, 78 years old. And I thought, well, one, I'm not probably going to be spending that much money once I get 78. And two, I'm expecting the Social Security benefits to be cut, because we are on pace to run out of money sometime in the early 2030s. And it's that this isn't Tom and Cody math. This is just straightforward math. They're going to run out of money unless something happens to increase the amount that's coming in or decrease the amount that's going out. That's the only way that it cannot run out of money. And I don't think there's any politician who would ever get elected using the platform of cutting Social Security benefits or increasing the age that you are eligible to get Social Security. So right now, it's looking like benefits are going to be cut like 30%. So I say all that to say, if I had it to do over, I'd probably still do what I did, but I would look at, if I had any low income years, I would have taken money out of the IRA or 401k just to get it taxed now, as opposed to worrying about taxes in the future. Because once you hit 73, which is it's going to slowly move to 75, you have to start taking money out of your IRA. And if you go back to why this whole thing came about, it's because the thinking was, I'm working, average person, they're working, they're making pretty big money, they're paying high taxes. And the thinking is always, well, when I retire, taxes will be lower. Well, when I was working, I was paying a lot more in taxes, and taxes are lower now. I just don't expect them to stay lower. I expect taxes to go up. So if you really want to get creative, what you should do is look at your tax bracket to see if you have money in the 12 to 20, 22, even up to 24. You may consider taking IRA or 401k money as income, but keeping yourself below that 37% tax bracket, or even below that 24. If you can take enough to keep you in the 22% tax bracket, that would be smart on your part. So that's something to consider. You need to understand what your tax brackets are. You need to understand where your income is, how much 401k money you have, because again, I keep saying interest rates. Tax rates will not ever get any lower than they are now.
Yeah, that's probably a fact, though. You probably can bet your bottom dollar on that, man. If anything, but so and most people probably in that 22, 24, because I think get up there to the next one. The next one is not 37, is it? Though is it another bracket before 37?
24.
No, but I mean, yeah, from the 24 up to
between 24 and 37.
Okay, right. That's up there. But so most people, really, like I said, get some advice, y'all, because I'm telling you, the name of the game is where you can pay less taxes. Do it. I'm going to talk about the IRA conversion deadline, which is December the 31st, and that's converting a traditional IRA into a Roth IRA by December 31st if you're going to convert it. Now, me and Dope talked about Roth IRAs before, and if you haven't done it, you look into it. You might want to consider it. But the Roth conversion transfers from traditional IRA or 401k, the conversion to a Roth account with the converted amount subject to income tax, right? So you pay the taxes on it right up front. Then on the back end, you will not pay any more taxes on it. But the caveat is you cannot take that money out until 5 years. I forgot to, sometimes we forget to mention that.
Well, but Bob, you can take out
what you put in.
You can't take out the earnings.
Thank you for clearing that. You cannot take out the earnings, the gains that you make until 5 years, but you can take out what you put in without any tax implications. But it's tax-free going on. Because remember, there's really 3 buckets, right? Taxable, tax deferred, and what's the other one? Just said taxable, tax deferred, and
tax-free or non-taxable. It was non-taxable, right?
Yeah, pre-tax. Yeah, that's what they call it, right? Non-taxable. That's the word I was looking for, though. Thank you very much. So, savers and retirees can use this strategy to mitigate their exposure to the income-related monthly adjusted amount, which is called the IRMA, and the benefit from tax-free withdrawals in your retirement. These surcharges apply to enrollees in the original Medicare and Medicaid Advantage plans. So the standard monthly Medicare Part B premium for 2026 is now going to be $202.90. Why they put the 90 cent there, though? And however, this could be higher because with the 2024 um, MAGA adjustable gross income above 109,000 for individuals and 218,000 for married couples. So the monthly surcharge for premium B, which is the doctor's visits and the hospital visit premium, that's going to range from $81.20 to $487 though. And then Part B, which is prescriptions, that's going from like about anywhere from $14.50 up to $91. I'm like, whoa. And but the Social Security Administration determines your eligibility for the IRMA and your maximum. So your income you have, if you're 63, your Medicare costs will be determined based on 2 years before your retirement, before you turn 65. So they catch you. Don't think you wait till 65 and your income drops down. No, it's 2 years before you retire. So the Roth conversion can boost your income, but they can also affect the income related IRMA, right? So you wouldn't have to be paying as much. So if you did a Roth conversion at the age of 63, that will be included in your calculation. So you got to make sure you get some advice on this before you do it. But the Roth conversion, I'm telling you, you can do the whole amount, or you can do piecemeal it, each year. That can help. There's different strategies that you can do, that you can think about. But if taxes or liquidity are your concern, you can do a partial conversion. If you have a problem like transfer a big amount, and you can convert a portion of your assets over 2 years or more, therefore spreading out your tax payments, and you don't have to convert the entire amount at once.
Okay, and just to be clear, Bob, you mentioned that the deadline is December 31st for Roth conversions, right?
Correct.
But the deadline for IRA contributions
good point.
is April 15th. Okay?
Right.
So make sure you understand that distinction.
Right.
And again, I can't underestimate how important it is to understand this tax thing, especially as you get older, because there are so many moving parts. As Bob mentioned, your IRMA, what you pay in Medicare, because it's up to $202, and it's going to continue to go up. And that, if you go from 202 and the max is 500 something,
right,
and per person, that's not per family. So if you're a couple, you're paying that for each person who's over 65.
And the interesting thing about that, though, and they judge it on both of your incomes together, not just your individual income.
Yeah, so you really have to be on top of this, because where you have flexibility to control your income, you have to look at your income in relation to tax rates, because you don't want to slip into a higher tax bracket if you can control it. You have to look at your IRMA, and it can truly make a difference in your wealth if you are on top of these things. And you have to consider your RMDs. Once you start taking your RMDs, that's going to count as your income. And so that's why we're talking about, if you are in a lower income situation, to get that money from the pre-tax bucket into the Roth bucket, where all the earnings grow tax-free. Once you get it into that Roth bucket, that money cannot be taxed. And that can be huge, especially as we're talking about tax rates being so low today, and almost definitely are going to go up in the future. You have to be around this, because there's thousands and thousands of dollars that you can end up paying in taxes, that you may be able to minimize some of that. And again, this isn't avoiding taxes. we're not telling you to cheat or avoid taxes. We're trying to get you to minimize what you pay. And it behooves you to pay as little taxes as legally possible. And the next thing I want to talk about is 529 contributions. And those are college plans, and a lot of people are starting to use those. And there's other things now you can use them for other than just actually paying tuition and fees. And that can be a good way for grandparents to spend their estate down and lower their estate taxes. And that's, of course, if you're over 15 million. But you can bet that's going to go down if the Democrats get in. But anyway, remember now, 529s are counted as gifts. And we talked about that gift amount being $19,000 per year or $38,000 for 2025. Okay. But there's also something in there, and again, something else for really rich people. The 529 plan allows for a super fund 5 years worth of tax-free gifts in a single calendar year for a beneficiary. So if the max is 19, as I said, with that super fund amount, you can give up to $95,000 for one spouse, and the other spouse can give another $95,000. That's $190,000 you can pass to a kid and avoid gift taxes on that. So anybody over that 15 million estate range, you might want to think about that.
So remember, you all, 2025 will be over before you know it. And the end of the year is traditionally a busy period filled with holiday planning, traveling, and spending time with family and friends. However, the end of the year can also be a good time to review your financial situation, ensure that you're on track to meet your goals. So give yourself the time to make the most of your money. It's because I'm telling you, the 31st will be here before you know it. Dope. Got a lot of questions, man. So I like to go through them. There's a couple of questions here. One is, do we see another interest rate coming?
Yes. Interest rate cut. Yes. This week, another quarter point, 87%.
It's this week. You think he's going to do it, though?
Oh, definitely. I think so, unless something crazy. Yeah, unless something crazy come out in the inflation report tomorrow.
Right.
I think it's scheduled for this week, I believe.
Mm-hmm. There was another question by a good brother Clutch. He said, I heard where banks may stop taking some credit cards to slow down the perks, like the rewards.
Yeah, that's a rule that just got passed a couple of weeks ago. And it allows the stores to determine which credit cards they accept. And typically, credit cards with very high perks have higher change fees, or what do you call interchange, or the fee that the credit card companies charge. The affinity cards or the reward cards have higher fees. So now stores will be able to say, I'm not taking your Hilton Honors American Express card. Okay, we won't accept it. But you can use your standard Visa card with no perks. And so that's going to kill a guy like me, because I get a ton of perks.
I use mine too, though.
I get more money back. I don't spend anything unless somebody gives me some money back. That's how I roll. And I do it at the highest level. I got cards I use for specific things to make sure I'm maximizing my my perks. And so if that goes away, that'll definitely be a pain in my neck.
Yeah. So dope. Let's go to the summaries and takeaways.
You want to ask your question first?
Yeah, I was going to ask the summary and takeaways, but let's do the summary and takeaways since we're there, and then I'm gonna ask the question afterwards. And this is very short and sweet. This week, talking about tax tips for the year, and I hope it's working.
Don't see it yet.
I think it's not working today, though, but it couldn't be a better time.
If any day is not working, this is a good one because it's really, really simple. The first takeaway is December 31st is fast approaching. That is the deadline for a lot of tax moves, and you have to certain things if you want to take effect for your 2025 taxes, it has to happen by December 31st. We mentioned Roth conversions, we mentioned stock exchanges, we mentioned money to put into your 401k and IRAs. Not IRAs, 401ks, because April 15th is the deadline for contributing to an IRA. So December 31st, make sure you get done what you need to get done.
Yeah, that's
You're going to make contributions. Make it happen by December 31st.
whatever you do. And the last one for today is minimize your tax burden. It is so important. Reduce your future tax exposure. And the goal should be for you is to minimize the taxes, not avoid them. Because Uncle Sam always get his man and woman. So we're not telling you.
And money.
We ain't talking about, you said, and what?
And money. He always gets his
look,
money.
don't forget about Uncle Sam. You got Aunt, for me, it's Aunt Merlin. Don't forget the state too. We always talk about Uncle Sam. Aunt Merlin and Aunt North Carolina gonna get you though, South Carolina. But reduce it as much as you can, y'all. We hope this information was very helpful to you to apply. And just want to go through some of the questions though that I think I might have covered most of them. Let me go back through here. Yeah, I did cover most of them. I'm sorry, I already did about the interest rate, and Dode needs to do a class or utilizing all those cash back options. That's what Rodney said. You're right.
If it changes, it'll all be for naught because it looks like they're going to start cutting back on accepting the ones that pay the big rewards.
Right. Yeah. They gotten smart, right? So we're going to do the roll call. Modestine down there in Lexington, South Carolina. So glad you did, dear. We appreciate you. You've been a stalwart being with us. And my sister Linda. What's up, Linda? And look, Dope, all three of the Kinza girls are on today. That's powerful when they all could be on, because those old biddies. Ha ha. Yes, you are. No, y'all are young at heart. But your old biddy be falling asleep. I know it. I'm going to tell on you.
You are mean.
I know they're going to get me. I know y'all going to get me. So stop it. Stop that dang on foolishness. Linda, Nolia, and Gloria, I love y'all so much. I always be messing with you. I'm glad y'all on and supporting your little baby Bobby. They used to call me Bobo, though. That was named after our dog was Bobo. And I'll tell you one day about the story about Bobo. Carl Chapman, what's up, my brother? Hey, Dope, we got Deborah Doty on today.
DD.
What's up, BD? And Rodney L. Madison, Senior, the Note Experience. I call my sister Gloria calling me. No, I ain't picking up Gloria. Why you gonna call me and I'm on the line? She called me. No, I ain't picking up Gloria.
Big sister gonna kick your butt.
I know. Look, see, I knew I'm in trouble, Dope. Yeah, we got Rodney and the wonderful Now Edwards Doty. What's up now, you Delta Sigma Theta Woo Whooper? Mo Better. Now, Mo Better told us early on. She was on early for it. Saying, thank you, Mo. But she said, I'm driving. Keep your eyes and your hands on the wheel, Mo. Mo Better. And Garnett. Garnett came in. Garnett was having a problem with a computer. Glad you got that straight, Garnett. Have you with us? And did I get everybody? I think I got everybody. And Lottie, that's funny. Gloria called me. I ain't messing with you, Gloria. I'll call you after the show. I can take it. So, Dope. As you know, this brings us to the most what everybody wait for at the end of the show. I'm missing Bob. I'm missing Bob's closing remarks. Oh, you're not gonna be able to get it on that? Sorry, darling. And she
You were
said,
supposed to do your question, Bob. You forgot that.
oh, yeah. The question. And we like to end with a question too. And the question this week is, what roadblocks? What are some roadblocks that keep you from saving? What are some roadblocks? Put them in the comment box, y'all. Before we go, what roadblocks keep you from saving? And this is if not just for you, just for other people. Because remember, anything you put in here is going to help a lot of other people. What you put in here, so and not just for you, just in general for people. What are some of the roadblocks that keep you from saving? Because saving is very important because you can't move to investing if you haven't been saving, and debt is usually would be really torturing people. wait, wait a minute, Modesty. What you mean? Those boys playing? Okay. Is that grandkids? Yes, yes, they are. Okay, got that. Saying, what you mean those boys playing, Modestine? Is that the answer to you? Anybody's going to respond this week? And I know there's some roadblocks out there. And like I said, don't have to be your roadblocks. Throw out some tips for other people. What do you think some of the roadblocks that keep people from saying, oh, our frat brother Clutch said stupidity. Now that's a good one.
Well, my roadblock was kids. They were damn expensive.
What is it? A game on? Oh, it's a game on. That's what Modestine talking about. The Cowboys. Is that game on today? That's what Modestine was talking about. The boys are playing. Oh, forget them Cowboys. We Commodore fans up here. Oh, my sister Linda said. Now this is very profound. A robot keep you safe. No money.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. And the issue is why they don't have no money, because they're probably spending outside of their means, right? But so thank y'all for sharing. Thank you for sharing and putting in the comments in there. Letting us know that y'all out there. Dope. I want to take a minute, give a shout out to our fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity. This is our Founders Day, December the 4th, 1906. Dope actually, Dope pledged me. He was our dean of pledges, and we played basketball, and he's my daggone big brother, and we're frat brothers. So we got a lot there connecting. Now we got the money thing going. So congratulations to our brothers, Alpha Phi Alpha. Onolia, my sister, the uncertainty of the economy we are currently experiencing. That's a good one, Noli. That's a good one, the uncertainty of the economy. Thanks now for saying great show. And Clutch says, screw the Cowboy. You know he's a Steeler fan.
Die-hard Steeler fan.
Call. Thank you. Call said, this is a good one. Unnecessary spending. That's a good one. But we talked about intentional spending, didn't we? Oh, man. So thank y'all for participating and listening in. Make sure you share this. We'll be back next week, same back channel.
No, we won't.
Not next week.
Yeah, we'll
be here the next 2 weeks, though. Unless you're not going to be, you're going to be traveling again.
I'll be traveling next week, but we'll still be on.
Modestine, don't be hate. Stop. That's what you get for being a Cowboy fan. So, Dope. Quote of the week. This is a little harsh, man, today, but I just gotta give it to you the way I see it, my brother. You have to accept the fact that sometimes you can have room for someone in your heart, but it doesn't mean that you have to have room for them in your life. Bam!
I got to think about that one.
Bam! Take that one. No. Some people, man, they good. You love them to death, but nah, man, you got to keep them out. You know what I mean? That's what that means. And let me just say it again. You have to accept the fact that sometimes you can have room for someone in your heart, but it doesn't mean that you have to have room for them in your life. Boom. Drop it, man. You dropping it. But Bob, man, you hear that sound dope? Dropping some knowledge. So look, oh man, no, my niece is on. Tracy. Oh, my niece down there in Atlanta, Georgia. Look, the big time TV and movie producer, dope. She's done a lot of stuff for Tyler Perry, BET, Bounce TV. She's a director, producer. Tracy, love you. Thank you for tuning in. And we will see you next week, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love y'all around the world. We see you next week. Peace.